What's up? Hard Pass back at it again. We're doing the NFL Spotlight, of course. You click the video, you know the title. But just to tell you again, we're doing the Ravens. And
NFL spotlight on the Baltimore
Baltimore
Ravens.
Ravens. So we're gonna see how this team, shakes out. Remy, what's your first glance at the Baltimore Ravens? What's your take?
I think it's a good team. They've been a very well run team. Their coaching staff and everything's done a really good job with them. Just looking at the roster, there is a lot of talent on this roster. There are some massive holes, however, in certain places. But I think this is still going to be a very good team. I think it's a playoff team. So we'll see how it pans out. But there's going to be one position in particular that we talk about. It's like tough, and that's that wide receiver group. So let's.
You're just looking at it off the base. We have a lot of injuries, a lot of outs, a lot of question marks, a lot of pups starting on the pup list and stuff.
That was their issue last year too. Ton of injuries. It's a snake-bitten injury franchise, but I mean they were still a good team last year, even with all the injuries. I think we all know what Baltimore wants to do. Baltimore wants to run the football. That's their bread and butter. That's where they're going to be the best. That's their strength. Run the ball, play defense, try and win football games that way. And they're well built for that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they're well built for that. But that's the issue with these teams that are built that way is if everything's right,
they're good.
They're really good. But the moment weird turnover happens or they just happen to be down 14 or something, that's where his team's going to struggle. So, but I still see a lot of wins coming this year for the Baltimore Ravens.
I think it's going to be a good football team.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a pretty good football team. I think if they can go back to running the football, being more, I guess unpredictable in the pass game, you want to get Lamar Jackson in as many 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 3s as possible, just for your play caller. And this roster's not built to get 3rd and 10.
No,
you don't have a quarterback that's built to do that. So if they can stay ahead of the chains, move, control the ball like they did 2 years ago, do that kind of style. If they can go back to that, we're talking a really good football team.
Yeah, this is a run first, play action, passing offense. So, just jumping right into it, and there's the quarterback position for them.
It means a lot. It means everything.
It means a lot. It's, of course, there's the contract situation with Lamar Jackson. Right. It's really weird to me, really strange to me that Baltimore has not
locked him up yet.
I don't know. Listen, I get it. There are quarterbacks where and a lot of times I'm like, I would wait and see and take my time and not rush it. And I get that Lamar has his weaknesses, but he's an MVP caliber player. He's won an MVP award. He's done a lot for this franchise. I think their concern is, have they already hit their ceiling with him? And that's a fair listen. If Lamar is one of those players, you're either one of two guys. You're either a big Lamar fan or
you think that he can't do it.
You think he's a running back. That's kind of the two sides of this coin. And I think from Baltimore's standpoint, if I had to guess, I think that's where they're sitting. They're like, are we the best we're ever going to be with Lamar Jackson and not be able to break through? Kind of like how the 49ers looked at Jimmy Garoppolo. It was like, we've went to a Super Bowl. We've gone to another NFC Championship game, but is that the best we can be? Can we do better? And it's weird. I don't foresee Lamar leaving. I think they do end up getting a deal done, but it is kind of strange.
I think it's just so hard to find another one.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like so hard to.
You can't just go pick another quarterback and it be a Lamar Jackson type of guy,
Especially when you have a guy in your system for so long, and now you've done built your roster around him. You've built your play calling around him. You built your coaching staff around him. At that point, you're like, we just got to hope that you're our dude.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's a talented guy. I will say I'm kind of on the fence with him. I think he has a very unique skill set for the position. that causes some problems if
He
they are
can
able
be he can be insane. He
if
can
they're
also
able to
be
run
not
the
great.
ball, like you said, like they were a couple of years back when they were the best running team year in and year out with Lamar. If they can get back to that style of football, then he presents a lot of problems
He
because
does.
he's not he's not at his best in your typical 3-5 step drop release on a timing route type of quarterback.
And he never will be.
He'll
So
never be that guy.
no.
Where he's at his best is two things: creating outside the pocket, clearly, because he's just faster than everybody else. He can make things happen, extend plays, and look for big plays that way. And like you said, play action pass. If you can get somebody open in the play action passing game, that is where he's at his
Mark
best.
Andrews is cracked. Dude,
No, he's nuts.
yeah, he's
but
nuts.
I like him. I don't love him. Kind of quarterback.
I'd say he's the second best quarterback in
second best situation right now. Now,
Right
Deshaun
now,
Watson whole year could change that argument, but right now, second.
I 1,000% agree. Lamar Jackson, this is definitely a big year for him. Big year as a pro, big year financially. We'll see if they end up locking him up. I think they end up doing that. I think they have a pretty solid team. I think they have a pretty solid year. And I think like I said, this year, they're the second QB room just because of all the unknown with the Browns.
Yep.
Do I think Deshaun Watson's a better football player than Lamar Jackson if you take all the other bullshit away? Yes, I think that.
Yeah. I agree.
But we got to see that come to light again,
Yep. 100%.
So we'll go into the running backs. Now, this is the biggest issue with that team is they want to run the football, but they don't have healthy running backs. They got to stay healthy to be good. I do like the Mike Davis pickup. I think he's always been a great backup. He's a funny dude for the locker room. They think J.K. Dobbins has a lot of talent. They think he's the dude.
Yeah.
Of course, he was hurt all year last year. Coming off the injury. Gus Edwards is still out. But I like the talent in the room. It's just we haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the issue we're coming. So I'm coming. I got to put him at 4 here, dude.
I'm putting him 4 as well. It's not a knock on the talent. I do think it's a talented room. It's just an injury-prone room with a lot of unprovens. You look at the other 3 teams in the division, and the running back rooms are
pretty.
They're set.
Really good.
You're talking some of the best running backs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So Dobbins could be that guy. I don't know if he is. They have a lot of hype on him. We'll see. Good rookie year, really good rookie year. Missed all last year. Gus Edwards missed all of last year. Everyone, if you watched football last year, their running back situation was wild last year. They had to run out Tyson Williams in the first week. They brought in everybody under the sun, Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell. They tried to do everything they could because this offense lives and dies on running the football. So, now statistically, because the way they play, I'm not saying
they run the ball really well.
He could finish the year with the most rushing yards of any of these guys. But it's just one of those things we got to see it again. Come back from the injury.
And we'll go into the pass catching, and I have him at 3rd here.
Yeah.
And it's a close one with the Browns. The only reason we were putting him at 3rd is because of this dude right here.
Because he is something
Look
else.
At these numbers from a tight end.
From a tight end, almost 1,400 receiving yards from the tight end position.
And I think the craziest part about it all is he could have a better season this year than he did last year.
Oh, yeah.
If the offense goes back to really running the football like they did years in the prior, that opens up the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. Safeties have to come down. He's not your prototypical pass-catching tight end who lines up all over the place. He's more of the guy with the hand in the ground, which makes it even crazier.
Yeah.
Because, he's not a guy that they put at wide receiver and goes and runs routes.
He's an all-around dude.
Yeah, he gets it done in the middle of the field. He's a great pass blocker, too.
My big issue with Baltimore, and I've said this in some of our other things that we've talked about, is Lamar Jackson being a young quarterback, being a guy you want to build around. I understand Hollywood Brown. There was some, he wasn't happy and wanted to be traded or whatever.
But he was the big play guy.
He
was the guy take the top off the team. defense.
After seeing like what teams like Miami have done with their pass catching and everything, and put pieces around
Devin
Tua,
Duvernay.
I think the Ravens have kind of gone the opposite direction. I have a lot of hope for this kid. I think Rashad Bateman, I thought when he was coming in the
He was a
draft,
stud.
was going to be one of the better wide receivers. I still think he can be. It's just, is he there now? Like today, is he a 1? And I don't think he's necessarily a 1 right now. The issue is, I got a lot of faith in him. You know who I have zero faith in? Is Devin Duvernay. As your wide receiver 2?
Yeah.
That's tough, dude.
Like, that's a guy that barely makes the team.
And it's not, and this is another thing too, it's not like, oh, Duvernay starts, but we've got a young guy back there that we think could eventually take over that spot. They don't have that. They don't have another, like, look at DeMarcus Robinson, the kid that played for the Chiefs. Proche, a 6th-round pick. They don't have a dude that, like, they took with a 3rd or 4th-round pick and, like, maybe
yeah.
They don't have.
No, they're rocking Devin Duvernay all year.
33 catches last year. That's your wide receiver 2. 272 receiving yards. That's tough, dude. They better be glad they have Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is wide receiver 1 through 3 for this team.
Yeah, I mean, really is.
And then Bateman's the slot guy.
If we get Bateman, if we get a healthy Bateman all year, I
like that. I like that 1-2 punch. I like Bateman, and I like Mark Andrews. But the problem is, dude, you got to have a slot guy. You got to have another guy.
You got to have someone else. It's anyone else.
So we're going to put him at 3rd here. But like we said, it's pretty much they're on par with the Browns. Yeah, they're on par with the Browns on that position. Now you look at the offensive line. We got some heavy hitters.
Health is also
an issue here.
But when healthy, this offensive line is very good.
Very good. Let's see what's going on with Ronnie Stanley. He is a stud, but he's
could
also
be the best of them, but he's injury-prone dude.
I really like this offensive line. I think this offensive line is very good. This center, by the way, correct. This is one of the highest. This is one of the best centers I've seen coming out of college in a long time.
They are. They know what they are. Let's just put it that way. Baltimore knows what they are.
I'm gonna say 2 at the O-line.
Yeah, and it's close.
Yeah,
it's very close.
I say, of course, Ronnie Stanley's got to come back and be healthy, but I really like their O-line. I think that this is a ground and pound. And and we have the running back room ranked 4th, but technically it's 1. It's almost going to be 1 because of Lamar Jackson.
This offensive line and that
and Lamar Jackson
in general, and Lamar Jackson. It's
see that's the greatest part about Lamar Jackson is people want to call him a running back or running quarterback, whatever. He's definitely a running quarterback, but he's as talented as a running back as any of these other guys is.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, if you're going to be a running quarterback, you might as well be the best of the running quarterbacks, and he for sure is that.
So we're going to say the O-line is 2nd.
And it's a close 2nd.
And it's close. We're going to move on to the D-line. Of course, I love Calais Campbell in the 3-4. He's one of the best over the years. Just one of the best 3-4 defensive linemen that's been in the league. Michael Pierce, he's pretty solid.
Yeah, big body guy.
Big body dude. I'm gonna say it's not pretty. I'm gonna say this is the 4th D-line, the 4th best D-line. But I like their dudes. I think it's a grindy D-line, and they do what they do. They're 3-4 D-line.
They're unheralded, man. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast when you run a 3-4 base defense. Is your defensive linemen, and for what they do, they're very good, but they're not going to be the flashy guys that put up all the stats and everything like that. So now Calais Campbell, like you said, this generation has been one of the best 3-4 defensive linemen that we've ever seen. So he is a generational guy now. He's up there. He's getting up there in age. But he's still been producing at a high level. But yeah, I agree with you. I put this in 4th, but still not a bad D-line.
We're going to the backers here, and they had high hopes for Patrick Queen. he took a big step back.
Step backwards last year.
But I think he's still a really talented guy. You like some of their other guys, Josh Barnes. They got to get more production out of this unit for this team to be where they want to go.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, if this team is a 3-4, so you have to get pass rush out these outside linebackers.
Yeah,
and you got to look at Patrick Queen here for this. But where do we got the linebackers coming in at? So we've already done backers. Steelers 1, Browns 3. So they can only be second. Or
I'll be honest with you, 4.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think and we'll look at the Bengals in the next video, and you're like, who are these guys? These guys get it done.
Yeah.
Now I think this group could be one of the better linebacking cores in the group.
Talent wise, just physical overall talent, the Ravens are more talented than what Cincinnati's throwing out there. But like you said, they've got to produce. They've got to go out and put out the numbers. Like you said, Patrick Queen was a high draft pick. There's a lot of hope for him. He is an athletic monster. He can fly sideline to sideline, but he gets lost sometimes. He gets lost, and they can't really trust him in pass coverage that well because he gets caught up in it. He bites a lot on play action. So, if he can go back to being a, borderline Pro Bowl player, then that could change drastically for this team. But outside of that, I mean, you're looking at
got high hopes on this kid.
Yep. I mean, first round pick there. They've got the talent. They just have to.
We'll see
it on.
This is like an asterisk. Like right now, as they produced last year, we got to put them at 4. Now, of course, the ceiling is way high for this team for the linebackers, so they could have a better year. And I'm predicting them to have a better year. I think they're going to have a good year. Clearly, we think this is a good football team. There's a lot of 4s on this team so far. 4ths. If you look at the running back group, the D-line group, the backers group, the pass catchers are 3rd. But the strength of the team is the secondary. Their secondary is 1st.
Yeah.
And their secondary is nasty.
When healthy. Now, Humphrey took a little bit of he had not a great year last year, but other than last year, he's been one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters missed almost all of last year, or
still
did
had
miss
a
all
good,
of last
still
year
had a decent
with the injuries.
Yeah.
But when he plays, he is a ball hawk, maybe the best ball hawk in the world. So yes, safeties very good. They also drafted Kyle Hamilton in that.
This
secondary.
kid is a beast.
This is up there with the top secondaries in all of
football. Yeah.
So for sure,
I think
1.
Yeah, we're gonna say 1 on secondary, and like you said, they're gonna run the football. They got to be good. This team is as good as I think they are, which I think they're going to be in a 10 to 11 win team this year. What number would you like to say on it?
I will put them. I'll give them 11.
So
I'll give them 11 wins.
So we'll say 11. I was right there with it. I think this. So if this is 11-win football team, they're going to need their secondary to, of course, stay healthy.
Yeah.
Dominate, which they will if they stay healthy. They need their linebackers to step up to the plate and be the talent that they are. They're going to need that offensive line to stay healthy and run, and they're going to need some not crazy production out the quarterback, but we know that Lamar is going to put up some crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Like double rushing and throwing, and you also you're going to need Mark Andrews to put up something like he did last year.
He's going to have to be better than he was last year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot to ask, but
so this is one of those things where if you look at it depth chart wise, maybe that doesn't match up with their record, but I think they're going to outperform where we, the numbers we have.
And the thing that we don't take into account with a lot of this is the coaching, and this is one of the best coached teams in the entire NFL. They're going to win games. Like I said, when we brought this up at the beginning, this is a really good team. They've got holes. They've got pieces that need to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I still think they win 10, 11 football games. Like you said, I think they're a playoff team.
Yep. Yes, sir. And that's it for the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see if they can put it all together and stay healthy. We'll holler at you next with the Cincinnati Bengals. Peace.